to the channel. I'm Nero. Thanks for being here. 10-game test on JKing's Jaggro. I'll give my final impressions at the end. We'll just do the game first, and I'll give you some thoughts. When this game is over, we'll just do commentary on one game. Jaggro can be a little difficult when you have some 1 toughness units in hand. I don't mind this per se because turn 1 GEBIRGs should survive for a couple of turns, and we can potentially be ahead on credits and get some other units out. So turn 1 for early credit acceleration, turn 2 Type 94 TK early into expansion to draw 2. Yeah, I like it. We'll keep it. It is vulnerable though. And it's, it's always good to put your opponent on a deck type before you make your mulligan decision. Britain used to be pretty much standard British USA ramp. I'm still putting that as the deck, but you're seeing some more, since the OCC, the more Commonwealth type decks. It's still ramps, but not quite as dedicated to ramp, but I'm still going to choose British USA ramp as what the opponent is likely playing. So far, it's sculpting out as predicted. And this is a really interesting spot to be in because it's not necessarily important to just jam as much early damage in as possible. It's played like that a lot, but it's not always as important as what people think because the 4 damage or 3 damage that you're getting in is typically gained back, which is fine. But with us being on the play, I don't mind putting Type 93 in because I get the attack damage on this turn and the attack damage on the next turn, assuming there's a supply shortage coming. So I don't mind Type 93 here. And that's what's rolling around. But I'll take it. I'm really not interested in deploying a ton of more units right now. We can go ahead and apply pressure, commit as few resources as possible, and put the pressure on so he can choose to do a supply shortage. He doesn't, he pins. I was really hoping he played a unit so I could play Audacity and get some value and put more pressure on. But Regiment is a phenomenal draw for us that we're going to play. And if he's trying to set up Glamour Boys on 5, it's Regiment's going to really put a hurting on that because you can't gain life off of it. Yep. But at least we have an Audacity target to get some value off of that. You might as well go ahead and draw first. So you just slow it down, count your credits for what you plan to do. Draw first, because the more information that you have as a player, if you have more information than the opponent and more resources than the opponent, you're in a good spot. And resources, information is a resource. So we're trying to get ahead on that as well. Sure. We can get some considerable damage in on this turn. He hasn't guarded up yet, which is good for us. And the pause here on the next turn is whether or not to try to continue to draw cards. And then the decision that I made was I need to get him into bombing raid in somewhere where I can get, if bombing raid is the top draw, we can win if they're not floating 3 credits. So getting into a position where I have bombing raid as an out rather than just bombing raid doing damage but not winning the game. So I opted for that. It gives me more options on how to close the game out. So I almost went 22nd, but then go type 94 instead, which puts him to 3. Just taking the time to think the play through. Also, too, if he deals with the board and passes, let's say at this point, because at 7, you're starting to see a little bit more carpet bombing. So if they carpet bomb instead of Glamour Boys, then Panzergrenadier is an out. So 20 Panzer is an out. Bombing raid is an out. If they deal with the board, he's not going to gain life off the Glamour Boy, which is, I was expecting that he was going to play Glamour, so wanting him to get to 3 life because I don't want to have to trade a bunch of units into it. So the point now is you're going to have to pick a line, right? We have to deal with the Glamour Boys and lose the fewest amount of units and hope there's not a follow-up play with another Glamour Boy, because double guard would be difficult. So we just have to pick the line, and the line I'm going to choose is, as I'm thinking about it there, which is why I was pausing, is to combined arms type 94, and we'll put Glamour at 1 health. And if he doesn't have, and then we'll move up 20 Panzer to put frontline pressure on, because he might be playing another guard. So if that's the case, if he doesn't wipe the board, play a supply shortage, and he just goes another guard, we're kind of okay. But we have to move the 20 up because we might have to deal with a second guard. So we'll play the combined arms on the type 94, putting Glamour at 1, move him up, so he'll have to spend a credit on the next turn. And if he doesn't go second guard or pins the 20 Panzer or trades into that, we have double 35T for the follow-up line, because we'll take type 93 and do the remaining 1 health and then double 35T. So that's the line I'm taking. So at 8 credits, he can carpet bomb, which would not be good, because then we have to take out the Glamour with a 35T or 20 Panzer. So carpet bomb would probably be the worst for us, but they only run 1 copy, I think. You still have to consider it. But if he doesn't have it, we have multiple ways to do the final 3, bombing raid being one. The pin is fine, and at this point I know the game is over. So going off the initial line, it's taking type 93, doing the last damage to Glamour Boy, which now his headquarters is unguarded, and we could double 35T. We could go just 20, no, we couldn't do 20 Panzer, just double 35T. And then my mouse got stuck, so that's kind of weird. So we just double 35 for the win. GG. So my thoughts on it, it's my favorite deck to play on ladder. It has some of the least amount. There's hard to have bad matchups. Most of the games that you're in are really like you can dominate, but even your bad matchups aren't terrible. Like you're always in the game. I think JKing did a phenomenal job, especially bringing in Regiment. I haven't seen anyone else do that yet, but it is a tremendous because it really puts a hurting on Britain, which could sometimes be the Regiment and the Goshi are really, really strong in the deck. It's my favorite deck to play on ladder. It's extremely efficient. To be honest with you, I think JKing's build of that particular version, which he took into OCC, that does very, very, very well for me on ladder. Masterful, absolutely brilliant. So thanks to him for getting that built. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for being here. Stay safe and be well.